Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the battery on this 15-inch MacBook Pro model A1398. This is a, I believe, late 2013 model, okay? If you're wondering how you check it's an early 2013 model. If you're wondering how you check that, there's a website called everymac.com, and that's where I'll enter in the serial number to look it up and get the proper year, because it's not based on when you bought it, it's actually specific to the model. Alright, anyways, we're going to remove all the screws here. So these are pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screws. You want to keep them in order by putting them flat side down like this on your desk in the pattern you remove them. Alright, so we're just going to remove all of these. They're in this rectangular shape. If you somehow mix them up, the back two in the middle here are usually a tiny bit shorter than all the rest, so keep that in mind. Again, but it's always a good idea to put back the same screws where you got them. So the customer actually brought me a battery from iFixit. It comes with a whole set of stuff, I think. I haven't opened the box yet, but we're going to open it up and see. Most likely the only thing I'm going to use in there is the battery, and you'll see why in a bit. I don't actually follow what the iFixit does to do these disassemblies. So if you've seen my videos in the past, you'll see the method I do is a lot easier, alright? Because the iFixit ones, if I remember correctly, they tell you to take the entire motherboard or logic board out. Anyways, we're done with the P5 or pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver. We're going to switch over to the Torx 5 or T5. We're going to now grab back here in between the hinge and this area, okay? And then we're just going to kind of wiggle and pull it up. Oh, this model has the magnets on it, so it's actually easier. Okay, it is really dusty inside here, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a toothbrush, brush all the dust off, and then I'm going to use my electric air blower just to clean it all up. Alright, so I'll see you guys in a bit once I've got that all cleaned. Alright, so I'm back. We cleaned out the dust. Here you can see it's a lot cleaner. There's still some stuff that kind of doesn't come off. I mean, you can probably wash it off, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, anyways, lots less dust. There was a whole bunch of dust in here and in the fans, so we got that all out. Anyways, let's go ahead and open up the iFixit kit and see what we got inside. Again, I'm probably only going to need, the battery. So let's go ahead and cut this thing open. Okay. That, and we have to cut the top. No, there's no tape there. Okay, so let's close that up. Alright, so okay, I can't show any of that, and they come with like all this like fluids and other stuff that I don't use any of that, so we're gonna toss that aside. We're gonna go ahead and open this. Hopefully this isn't one of the annoying models with the adhesive that just tears to shreds. And there's the battery. They tell you to calibrate it, charge to 100%, keep charging for at least 2 more hours, then use your device until it shuts off due to low battery, and then charge it uninterrupted for 100%. Interesting. Okay, anyways, we'll set that aside, and let's go ahead and get the battery out of here. So, we're going to continue using the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. To do this, I use a tool that's, I don't know, computer repair places don't really have or use this. It's basically like a frosting spatula. I was told this one was actually designed for a pharmacy where they kind of like scoop the pills into like the bottles or containers or whatever. Anyways, we removed the 2 screws there. We're going to remove the 2 screws here. The other option, which I've been told works, but I've never been able to get it to work correctly. I've tried it a few times, but people said they use floss or some string or fishing line. They get it underneath the battery, and then they kind of use that to pull it. Again, I've never been able to get that to work right, so if it works for you, go for it, but this is how I do it. And I've been told a lot of people, they're like, oh, don't use metal tools, but I've never had any issues, and I've repaired a lot of these. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and clean this up, because there's usually dust on the side of these. I don't know if you can see that. There's, yeah, dust trapped in there, so we're just cleaning that up. And you want to be careful. You don't want to actually pull this up too high, because the speaker is actually trapped underneath here, and if you pull too high, you can actually damage the speaker. You can break it. Alright, I've never had that happen, but I'm just warning you guys in case somebody decides, let me try ripping it all the way out. You don't want to do that because the other end of this is under there. Okay, so what I do is while I'm holding this, I get the tool underneath. We're going to go to this edge here. Oh, I'm working on a computer and it's updating. I might have to work on that soon. And then I just basically kind of shove that down to cut the adhesive. Once you've done that, you pull it back, move it over, and repeat. All right, and we're just going to do this all the way down the entire length, width, whatever height of the battery, whatever you want to call it, depending which way you're looking at the battery. Okay, so once we've gotten all of that out, you can see now this battery pack is all floppy. Oh, this is going to be the annoying adhesive. All right, then we're just going to go ahead and continue doing the same thing, but now down this part. All right, on my other videos, I think I did a more zoomed in video of this, so if you want one where it's more zoomed in, you can watch that. I'm going to leave this a bit more zoomed out just so you can kind of see how I'm working on this. My hand and arm motions, whatever. Okay, pull this back out. Yeah, this is going to be the very annoying adhesive. I think I underquoted this person. Okay, anyways, we're going to keep cutting this. Okay, as you can see, some people use like Goo Gone and other stuff to clean up the adhesive. I don't know, I don't like to use that kind of stuff, but whatever works for you guys. All right, I do what works for me. All right, so now we cut that. The problem is you can't go under here because there's this thing blocking here. So once you get over diagonal like this, you can kind of pull this up slightly and just slowly pull it, and there you go. You will actually stretch the, what do you call, the outer layer of the battery there, but that's fine. All right, we're gonna go over to this side as well, and we're gonna do the same thing. We gotta lift the speaker up, get the tool underneath, and then we're gonna just push through to cut it. Just like that. And we're gonna move over to the side, push through to cut it, just like that. And we're gonna go over to the side again, push through to cut it, just like that. Go over, push through to cut it, and push through to cut it, and there we go. All right, so we got that one out. At this point, you can actually put back the speaker screws, so that way you don't have to worry about them. Let's actually go ahead and do that. There's 2 screws in each speaker. Just like that. That one in. And the last one in this corner here. Okay. This screw seems like it's like over tightening, but it also feels like it's not catching enough. All right, anyways, we're gonna go over here again, and we're going to continue scraping up the battery. This tool, because I use it to pry stuff, it has a slight bend in it. Because of that, I want to use it so the bend goes like this. You don't want to have it like that and then scrape underneath the thing here. All right, so we're gonna continue cutting through this stuff, just like this. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. Then again, we're going to go at an angle because the raised screw mount there, just to cut this whole top edge here. And then we can go ahead and pop this up just like that. There we go. The trackpad side is a little bit different. You have to raise it up slightly here. So let me show you here. Let's get in between. And because there's this raised area here, you have to go slightly above that so that you can scrape out the area right above the trackpad there, okay? There's one other thing we're gonna do, which I probably should have done first. Sorry, hopefully I didn't screw anyone up. But anyways, you wanna disconnect the battery here. Maybe I should, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to pull this out. So here you can see this. Sorry, I got too excited. I started too early. But anyways, we're going to pull this part up so you can pop the battery out. And if you want to be extra safe, I'm probably going to have to edit this video and switch the order around. Then we're going to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. Or maybe I'll just say, this is what you're not supposed to do. Or I don't know. I'll make it as a tutorial, as a please watch all the way through before beginning. All right, anyways, There we go. Okay, next we need to use the T5 or Torx 5 so that we can release the screws underneath this piece here. So we're going to peel this stuff up here. And there's one T5 Torx 5 screw there. And again, if you can, after disconnecting the battery, it's good to press and hold the power button 15 seconds. If you're wondering why, that drains power from like the capacitors and things like that and makes it safer to work on. If you know what you're doing, it's usually not a problem. But if you don't know what you're doing and you mess up, you touch something in here with metal tools or something, then you might end up having issues. So that's what that pressing and holding for 15 seconds is for. And here you can see now we can kind of lift this piece up a bit more. Let me zoom back out so you guys can see again. And we're going to now continue cutting the adhesive from under this pack here. Okay, so lift this up, get the tool here. And you want to be careful because there's nothing blocking this area. So when you push the tool, you can actually go more to the front of the laptop. That way you don't accidentally risk damaging anything on the other side. Okay. All right. And then we're just going to pull it back, work our way over a little bit. And again, just like that. Continue. Just like that. Work our way down. Cut that stuff up. All right, let's go ahead and get under here so it's a bit easier to work with. Okay. Oh, there's one other thing. If you really wanted to, you could skip over the attaching the adhesive properly, and you can actually use the laptop without taping the battery down. That way in the future, if you ever need to replace the battery, you could easily pop it back out, but you might get some rattling noises if you shake your laptop around. So yeah, usually I want to put it back the way it was found, the way it was. But it is possible to just leave the adhesive off. If you want, you can even put like some foam in between, but that might cause a little bit of a heat temperature issue. So if you do decide to do something like that, just be a little bit careful. Okay. You can also use some kind of like foil tape or something that helps pull the heat away and back away from the battery and into the outer casing. That might work too if you put a thick enough layer of foil tape or something to help pull the heat away and out. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and continue removing this stuff. Or if you have like some thermal adhesive, or you can even put thermal pads, actually, to be honest. That might actually improve the battery life. Unless you put your laptop on something hot, then it might do the opposite effect. Okay, almost there. Okay, and I've heard people use all different kinds of tools to do what I'm doing. I've heard some people use a credit card or something. You can use whatever is thin, but you want to be careful not to use a knife, at least not for the initial part, because the initial part, it has to like flex a lot. So if you look at this, you need to get it to flex like that to get underneath the battery. If you have a knife, like something like this, it doesn't flex at all, or very, very little. I mean, everything has a little flex to it, even if it feels like it doesn't. But it needs enough that it can get underneath the battery, not go into an angle and then end up cutting through the battery. So you want to be very careful with that. All right, and did we get all of this out? It's not seeming to want to lift. There might be some adhesive under this part here. Okay, I think we got it all. Let's go ahead and rotate it and see if we can lift the battery out. So we're gonna get underneath, lift all the battery up like this, and then pull it, slide it forward. There we go. Here's what the battery looks like underneath. Here you can see where we kind of just pulled it up because the adhesive is, we can't cut that corner. This side was okay because the adhesive kind of just peeled away. But as you can see, there's no cuts, there's no damage to the battery. other than that part peeling up. But yeah, so I get a lot of people, they'll tell me, why are you using metal? Don't use metal. But if you know what you're doing, don't worry. I mean, if you're watching this video, you should hopefully find out what you're doing and not just be like going blindly. Make sure you're watching the video and following along. Hopefully you didn't just skip around. I do get some people that will skip around and then ask me like how to do something when it's like in the video. So hopefully you actually are paying attention and getting it. It's all important. Following all the steps, you want to make sure. All right, including the battery disconnecting thing, which I forgot to do at the beginning. So that's, yeah. All right, but as you can see, I'm probably going to end up using the metal scrapey tool for this because as you can see, this sucks to remove. Okay, so what I'm going to do, again, you don't technically have to remove all this adhesive. You can kind of just leave it there, and then after that, you can just remove the battery easily if you need to replace it anytime in the future. Though most likely, unless your battery is defective that you're replacing it with, this should last until Apple's like no longer supporting this model, and then there won't really be a point to switch your battery again. Unless you killed the battery by draining it all the way to 0, that's not good for the batteries, okay? And after we scrape all this stuff out, we are going to use rubbing alcohol to clean up the, I don't know if you can see, there's a faint residue there, okay? So yeah, we're gonna do that all the way across. I do need to check the other computer real quick and I'll be back. All right, oh shoot, actually, hold on. All right, sorry about that. Forgot to tell it to start updating again. Let's go ahead now and start scraping this stuff up. Okay, again, this is pretty annoying, pretty labor intensive-ish. Okay, and we're just going to keep scraping this stuff up. see how much work this is. Whew. Okay, got one of the packs out of 6. Clean up. If you want, you can actually fast forward over this, of course, but I just kind of want to record it so people see how much work and effort goes into this. Of course, you can put some stuff to help dissolve this, but again, I feel like if you do that, it becomes more of a mess. You got to clean that up, and if it gets into the electronics, then you start having issues. So I don't like to pour a bunch of dissolving liquids and stuff into here. Whew, tiring. But this is kind of like a workout, I guess. Okay. There we go. There we go. Hopefully you guys are able to see everything that I'm doing. This part is a bit more annoying, and this is going to get all scratched up. I guess technically if you pry this out, you can like soak it in something to dissolve it, but then the adhesive below will get messed up as well, so I kind of don't want to do that. Alright, let's go ahead and get this out. Well, okay, and then the other problem is I'm left-handed, not ambidextrous, so it's easier to do it in one direction than another, so the other computer I'm working on seems to be somewhat done, so I might have to go do some work on it real quick and then continue with this. Alright, give me a second and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue removing all this gunk. You want to be careful with the motherboard as well, of course. And again, you don't have to scrape all this stuff out if you don't want, but because I want to try and get it all to stick down the way it was from factory, that's why I got to do this. Alright. Okay. Not too bad. Let's rotate this. Alright, continue. There. Almost there. Whew. My arm's getting tired. Uh-oh, my Chromecast thing is restarting itself, so I can't see what I'm doing now. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing, but I can't see what I'm showing you. Go. All right. All right. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Whew. Hand's getting tired. Not only that, but it's a little bit hurts to hold the tool like this. Maybe I need to get a special tool that's with a handle for this. I can see the jokes coming in from that now. Okay, there we go. All right, let's rotate this. Let's actually toss the bits of stuff that we already scraped up. It's a lot of junk. Okay. I don't know if what you guys can see, but hopefully you can see this, because if I reset my camera setup to do that, it's going to be annoying. So I'll probably stand up to see what I'm doing when I install the battery, so you guys can, so I can make sure that you guys can see what you need to see. But other than that, for now we're just scraping off all this adhesive. You don't technically need to see all of that. So also, if somebody's watching this entire thing, I'd be impressed if they're watching through all of this scraping part. If you are, comment in the comment section below and you'll win $1,000. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of wonder if I start doing that. First person to comment like some special comment in the comment section below will win something, and I wonder if that will get people to actually watch all the way through. It's not super important, but if you're following along and doing the same kind of repair, it's actually a good idea to follow along and see what complications you might run into, things like that, right? Alright, now for the part that's going to get all scraped up. I don't know which way to angle this to make it so you guys can see, and that's also easy for me to work on, because when I put it at an angle for you guys to see, it's awkward for me to be working on it. So let me show you what happens if we use, because later we're going to have to use more, but I'm going to put a little rubbing alcohol into this area here to clean up the residue. Okay, and when we put that and then we kind of scrub this stuff, I'm going to kind of try and get it to go all to the adhesive areas. So some people like to use some other chemicals to do this, but basically this dissolves the layer underneath, or the adhesive. It's not as good if you leave all the foam in place because it has a harder time dissolving it. But let me see if you can see now as I scrape this. Actually, I can now use this plastic razor blade to do this. It's nicer because it sits flat, but here you can see, you can scrape up this goop. Alright, it's all goopy, like snot. But again, this doesn't work as well when the foam is there. I'll actually show you in a bit. I try and avoid putting it on the trackpad area because it has a hole in it and on these gaps here. And if the stuff gets in there, it can cause some problems. So let's go ahead and just get some rubbing alcohol from here onto that. And we'll see how well that helps. Okay, so here you can see we got most of this adhesive residue out, hopefully you can see. And I can't see what I'm recording right now. Okay, so here now we have this giant booger blob. We're just going to use a paper towel and clean that up. Who took my roll of paper towels? Oh my god. Okay, I'll be back. I need to get my roll of paper towels. Alright, back. Actually, let me see if I can reset my video thing. Well, that didn't work too well. Now I'm going to have to merge the videos together, which takes a lot longer. But anyways, let's go ahead and clean up this goop. Okay, you can see we got most of that goop out. This thing is now somewhat soaked with rubbing alcohol, so we're going to see about scraping it up now and see. Hopefully it's a lot easier. Okay, so we're going to use this and we're going to now, yeah, see, with the foam stuff there, it doesn't really help too much. So I'm still going to have to scrape it up. Yeah, every time I try hoping for different results, and we always get the same results. So, alright. Anyways, I'm going to scrape, excuse me, I'm going to scrape this up, and then we're just going to go from there, okay? Again, it's now that I put the adhesive or the rubbing alcohol already, it's going to be a bit messier. Basically what we're doing is we're scraping off this somewhat protective layer so that the rubbing alcohol can get underneath it. And also, because there's less residue, then the rubbing alcohol doesn't have as hard of a time getting to dissolve it. Alright. Other people asked if they can use like fingernail polish remover and stuff like that, which technically it will work, but it's pretty risky because if it gets into the plastic components, it can dissolve that. So you want to be very careful. I wouldn't use I wouldn't use fingernail polish remover, but if you really wanted to, you can. Just be very, very careful. Alright, so that one's pretty much done, but now it's going to be more of a pain because it didn't scrape off as nicely since we put rubbing alcohol on it. Hopefully it will clean off once we add the rubbing alcohol again. Okay. Just like this. Okay. Just like this. Scrape it all up. Almost there. You can see there's still stuff here. Actually, it's hard for me to see it in person, but in the camera it's easier to see this, that this gunk was still here. I didn't notice that. Alright, let's get this scraped up. And here's the thing I was kind of warning you guys about. If you aren't careful and you run the tool here, you can cut the trackpad cable and even the keyboard cable here. Go. We're getting there. All right. I'm on a time crunch too, so I gotta get this done soon. Come on. Whew, almost there, guys. And then we just gotta clean it all up with rubbing alcohol. There, only 1.5 to go. Last one. We're almost there. Okay. Whew. All right, enough of that scraping. Let's go ahead now, put some rubbing alcohol into here. This is 91% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, just in case you're wondering. You don't have to use 91%, but it helps dissolve the stuff, the adhesive, a bit better than if you were to get like a 70% or something like that. Okay, so basically the best way is to kind of just let it soak in it a little bit first. if you can. And then once you get that kind of soaking, you can kind of scrape it up. If it's too thick of a layer, you might have to let it soak longer, but I try and keep this stuff away from the speaker if I can. So usually it dries up and it's safe for the electronics, but the thing is it pulls the adhesive gunk with it. So if you're putting the adhesive gunk under the speaker with the rubbing alcohol, that's not really good for it either. So, all right, I'm gonna take the extra rubbing alcohol from here and just get it all over the residue up here. Alright, let's see if we can scrape this stuff up. My arm's already super tired. Okay, and of course there's going to be some scrape marks from scraping the adhesive up, the foam stuff. Yeah, you can see. Alright, let's see the adhesive coming up. We're going to wipe up that goop trail. Okay, let's wipe up this one as well. We are going to clean up the excess residue here as well later, but for now we're going to leave it. And this side, I kind of be careful to pour it on because of all the little crevices. So what I do is I just pour it over here. And then you can use this to kind of, or whatever you want. You can use a Q-tip or whatever to get the rubbing alcohol here. You can even just use paper towel. The reason I do it this way is because if I do it the other way, I'll have to pour a lot of rubbing alcohol to kind of saturate the paper and stuff like that. So I like to kind of just use this to kind of get it where I need to. Maybe I need a special tool to do this. Like a little squirt bottle with a thing on the end. But okay. All right. And we're almost there. Okay. Let's scrape up this stuff. And then once we scrape up all this residue as much as we can, we're gonna switch over to a paper towel with rubbing alcohol on it. And hopefully we can get up the rest of the residue. Alright, there you go. You can see that giant blob of adhesive there. Alright, and now we'll just clean this gloop glop up. Okay, clean up that. Alright, we can kind of clean all of this because there's still some residue here. Alright, and we'll clean up that. So to clean up the rest of this residue, because it's so little, what we're going to do, we're just going to fold this up. And we'll use some more rubbing alcohol. Now we're just going to kind of saturate this. And now we'll just clean it. Okay, again, you want to be careful for the cables. You don't want to accidentally damage it. Alright, let me clean this up. Alright, so we got most of it out. We're going to now fold it over to a clean side without the adhesive on it. And we're going to continue the same thing. We'll get some more. Alright, and we'll clean this up. Okay, clean this up. Get that residue off. you can actually see that the swirls disappeared, and now it's just the scratches from scraping up the battery. Okay, and then I'm going to get one more clean paper towel and do this one more time just to try and get up a little more of that residue, keep it from preventing the battery from sticking. There's that. Wow, there's a serial number sticker on the bottom there. Okay, also, if you're wondering, Apple won't even know, even if you scrape this all up, because if you brought it to them, well, they'll know that you put a different battery in there. But usually when they replace the battery, they replace the whole palm rest and the keyboard and everything. They don't just replace the battery. So they don't even take the battery out of here. Yeah. So Apple doesn't do so much repairing stuff as they do just replace everything, which I guess to an extent everything is kind of replacing stuff, because we're not swapping this board over to a new battery, we're getting a completely new battery. All right, so anyways, we're gonna peel this piece off, but first what we want to do, we want to test fit it. So get it in there, line it up. See what I mean? You can actually leave the screws here and leave the battery like this, and you can have it just moving around in here, but it will kind of make some noises. So, and also when you stick it down onto the aluminum body, it does help with heat dissipation. All right, so now this connector, usually it's going to be too long, so what you do is you fold it down like this, and then you fold this back, and then you can kind of push it into itself. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and peel the protective coating off of here, just like that. Okay, and then we're gonna carefully drop this into place, making sure that these two screw mounts line up. Okay, so we'll line it up, slide it into place down here. Okay, and slowly, carefully lower this. I need to move it here so I can see over the top better. All right, and there you can see. All right, and then once you get everything lined up, you can go ahead and push it down if you want. All right, we're gonna now put in the battery screws, again using the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Get that all lined up. It can be a little bit tricky, but there we go. Okay, I'm gonna loosely fit that first so we can get the other screw in here. And we'll get that in. There we go, and tighten that all the way down. And tighten this all the way down. All right, so there we go. Now that we got all of that, you can see the battery connector is a little bit misaligned. So we're gonna have to kind of make sure to move it around. All right, then what you do, the easiest way I found is you get one corner in first, kind of like that. And then once you get that corner, once you get that corner in, you can kind of hold that corner in and then maneuver the other one into the right place. It's a little bit difficult to do because I'm doing this in camera, but there you go. Okay, line it up and push it all together. There's a hair in there. All right, so there we go. Also, if you want, you can transfer over that adhesive part that the old battery had. So let me show you. So the part that covers the screws, you can peel this off completely. Peel this off completely, just like this. All right. And then we can go ahead and put this back on. All right, just like that. There we go. Next thing, or I guess last few things we have to do, you want to test it. We're going to peel this clear layer off. All right, and when you peel this off, it's best to roll it back here, just like this, just like that. All right, just like that, and roll it. And this battery pack's not really stuck down all the way, so we're gonna have to push that down, push that down, push that, push that, push that down. All right. Next thing, put the cover back on. Okay, and this one doesn't click in because it's just magnets. All right, we'll flip this over. We're gonna do a PRAM and SMC reset. I don't have my charger with me, but hopefully this battery's already charged. To do the SMC reset, Control Option Shift on the left side. Let me zoom out a bit. Oh, actually, okay, and then power button. If you have your charger plugged in, assuming it's not already 100% charged, if they shipped you a battery and it's 100% charged, you might want to worry. It shouldn't be 100% charged. But anyways, if the light is orange or amber, it should go to green and then back to orange or amber, right? So that's how you know you did SMC reset right. Then to do PRAM reset, you power it up and then Command Option P and R, hold those buttons down. The computer should boot up. You should see the screen shut itself back off. So right now the screen is like a very dark blackish purple. I saw the screen go off. You can let go and then it should boot itself back up a second time, and that's how you know you did the PRAM reset properly. And that's pretty much all there is to this. We're gonna put the screws back in. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. It's showing 63%, so we should be okay. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, let's get all these screws back in and we should be good to go. All right. Yeah, I'm sure you know how to get screws back in, so you don't really need to stay for this part, but if you do, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. It's kind of nice. It helps the algorithm because it sees that you kind of stayed for the entire video. Most of my videos, people watch just for a short portion of the video, so YouTube sees it as, well, I guess they only were interested in a little of the video, when I guess it's true. You're only interested in a little of the video. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if that means I should find what parts people skip to, but that'll be tough, and then just make a video specifically of that. But there would be too many parts, so I guess I could technically turn one of my videos into like 50 different videos. And that would also kind of make me more money through YouTube. But yeah, let's get all these last few screws in and we're good to go. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, bye.